are not federal matters, are state matters. So you have to go to those states. I was away, but my little brother, Willis, I wonder whether he's a member of the CIA or not. He always finds me wherever I am. So he called me at that time. I was in Utah. He said, look, whatever you do, I told him I couldn't make it, but he said, whatever you do, definitely this is very big for Philippa, you have to do it. And when I talked to you, I said, look, I'm trying my best, because at that time I had not talked to my boss. And I went and talked to a minister who is in town. I said, who knows you? Who is your cousin also? Mr. Nasasra. He said, okay, you can go. So I came yesterday. I'm here to give you this kind of mission. I have lost about 4 or 5 of my relatives, you know, some of them, through this kind of disease. Recently, I was lucky, we saved one whose cancer is now in remission, your Aunt Jane Watharati, you know her. We almost lost her because of carelessness of our institutions at home. Again, she was shocked to find out that she was one of those people who had breast cancer. We rushed, because we had means, we rushed her to Mulago, and she went through a surgery. I don't know what has happened to most of our institutions. Hopefully we'll correct them. A young doctor, probably in a hurry to go to his own clinic, saw her after surgery and left all other things he was using during surgery in her breast. 2 or 3 days, my sister almost died. The breast swelled and swelled. Again, thanks, we had means, we rushed her to South Africa, where her son-in-law is also a doctor. And they found out that what had happened. She's a Mlokole like you, unfortunately for us. Because I wanted to sue the government for whatever they did. And she said, over my dead body, I'm not. Jesus forgive me, and I'm going to forgive these people. So they didn't. I insisted, along with others, to get at least an apology, which we did get from the ministry and from Mulago. From that time, of course, she's now doing well. Cancer is in remission. But you never know. Recently again, I was talking with the doctor who is the person who works for the cancer, who was sitting next to me. I lost a good friend who I went to Colombia with. He was a man. I never knew that men can die of breast cancer. They can. So it's a disease that we have, all of us, to try and get rid of. I want to invite you, Philippa, because this disease in Uganda, maybe we never knew, maybe it was there, but we didn't have means to know. There are many, many women who are suffering from breast cancer in Uganda. Recently, I visited the Institute for Infectious Disease Institute at Mulago, really at Makerere, but in Mulago, which is doing very well, but only concentrates on HIV and AIDS. So I went to them and said, by the way, we have another problem. I happen to, fortunately, to be the chairman of the International Ambassadors Committee on that institute. I said, can we also add the breast cancer or any other cancers that are inflicting our people? They said, no. The monies that we have already been located for HIV, and perhaps we can include malaria, infectious diseases. and cancer was not among those. But when I see, and I'm a female breeder, I have 3 women or 3 girls and no boys. And I'm very worried. My wife has lost also some about 4 or 5 relatives, again, through the same disease. Every year, as you know, Philippa, we Ugandans meet round about Labor Day, I believe, the last days of August. We have UNA, which meets in every city, each year. Last year we were in Orlando. This year we will be in Chicago. As you know, when we meet, we're in thousands. In Orlando we were 4,000. The year before we were in San Francisco, we were 6,000. Many young people do come out, women who are here, some from Uganda, but we have many people here. For that matter, I went to the government here, Homeland Security, and said, could you kindly, because I now have been in Washington for 2 years, tell me how many we are in Uganda? Because whenever we go to UNA, it seems as if men are less and there are more women. And these are young women who should know, who should have these facts, who should have this information, so that they can either study or use the information you have to spread it around and see if they can help. And if you have a chance, or your friends in the organization, I would like to work with you. We are now preparing for the speakers at that convention, which will be in Chicago on about maybe 30th or so of August next year. If you could come and share this fantastic information. You know, this reminds me of what Martin Luther King Jr. said at one time. He said, you see, we often remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our relatives and our friends. This really reminds us of that silence of our friends and relatives. I don't have much to say. I had written a small message in the program, you can read that. But we are working very hard to make sure that we can really fight against this disease. I have worked with many universities, especially 3 universities. University in Mukono. By the way, some of you who are professors, who are in education, you must go and see that university is doing very well. It's a good university in Mukono, a few kilometers from Kampala. University of Mbarara, University of Science and Technology, and University of Gulu. We are trying to work with those guys and find funds to see if we can establish a research. And I'm glad that there is a doctor here who is willing to come to Uganda and visit, maybe teach, maybe share the information. So if you have a chance, some of you brothers and sisters, and you are home, do go to those 3 universities. I'm sure, by the way, we have over 30 universities in Uganda. And we graduate 70,000 students each year. So we will have, in a very short time, a very well-informed, well-educated workforce, which will be very good. So if you have a chance, do visit those universities, Mukono, Mbarara, and Gulu. They are doing well, they are young universities, that's where we can start this kind of research. I want to end by thanking you again, Philippa, to invite me here. And I will be there whenever you want me, and I work with you. So I thank you for whatever you have done and what you're going to do. Thank you for the entertainment tonight. As we say in our language,